Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, we are presenting webinar on thriving at a workplace, organized by Applied Science and Humanities Department of Parul Polytechnic Institute, Parul University. The main agenda of this webinar is to help students with skills which will help them not just to survive but thrive in a workplace, useful during internship, personal interview, and post joining. I, Vaishali Nathwani, would like to introduce today's guest speaker, the Director and CEO of Emerge Finishing School, Neelu Jain Ma'am, an entrepreneur, a postgraduate in HR, an NLP practitioner, a speaker with 13 plus years of overall work experience, having trained 300K plus professionals pan-India in soft skills and leadership development. She is the director of two organizations. She is also the winner of Indian Achiever Award 2020. She has conducted many training programs for clients like CESE, HPCL, IOCL, RBI, Axis Bank, Citi, BC Bank, ICICI, Lombard, and many more. She has also trained students from Xavier Business School, St. Xavier's University, Birla Global University, C.V. Raman College of Engineering, IMI, TECO India, Business Schools of Management, and the list goes on. It's a privilege to welcome you, ma'am, and you can start with the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a lovely introduction, and a very good morning to each one of you. I am hoping that you all are hooked on to the Facebook Live, and it's an honor and privilege to be a part of this particular webinar. Thank you so much for having me over. And to all the dear students, it's going to be a great workshop with all of you, though on the online mode. I would love to take you through this particular topic, which is extremely close to my heart. Why? Because this is something that I feel each student, doesn't matter which year they are in, this is the end result that they should be having. Because ultimately, when we start pursuing the education, when we are going through our post-graduation or our graduation, the aim is to join a workplace. So let's get started with this topic, which is called thriving in a workplace. Now, I'm going to show you two set of words. Let's try and see what we can understand out of the two words. Because the topic is thriving in a workplace, but before we get into how to thrive in a workplace, let's take a step backward. And let's try and understand the difference between these two words. The first one is called survive, and the second one is called thrive. Now, most often in our life, we always hear the first word. Ye karna hai, this we need to do. Why? Because we need to survive. Human beings need to survive. In a workplace, we need to survive. Monday to Friday, we survive. On Friday night, we have enjoyment. And the whole routine work continues from Monday to Friday because we are running on a survival mode. There's a lot of talk and discussion, and a lot of our life revolves around this one word, which is survival. Of course, it's the bare minimum. Surviving is required. That's the minimum thing that we all need to do. We all need to survive. We all need some basic, the roti kapda makan that is said. That's for our survival. We definitely need it. But if we constantly keep on thinking about our survival only, if we constantly keep thinking of how do I just survive, that means how do I just chala le? How do I just get it through, manage? That is stopping us from becoming what we can become. That can stop us from becoming the best version of ourselves, which is thrive. The word thrive basically means to flourish, to to celebrate, to become prosperous. Thriving is excelling. Today, my agenda with all of you for this 1 hour that I will be talking to you, first half, like about 40-45 minutes, I'll take you through some of the tips, about 6 tips that will help you to thrive in a workplace. Post that, we will have certain Q&As. So each time, anytime a question comes to your mind, I am sure there is a mechanism where you can think about the question and you can put it forward when we take up the Q&A. Right? So if I go back to this topic, it's just not merely surviving. We need to focus on thriving. We need to focus on how we can shift our mindset from the basic necessity to how do I make the best for myself. Like I said, I'm going to share 6 tips with you by the end of this program, which I have gathered through 13 years of my work experience, which I've gathered through working with students, from professionals who are excelling in their workplaces, and from stalwarts of the industry. This presentation that I'm going to show you is not out of, it's just been made. It is a lot of experience. It is a lot of real-time insights taken from these people, taken from real-time application of people who have been successful. And that is what I'm going to present to you. So the focus, remember, is shifting from survival to being able to thrive, from survive to thrive. The basics is good enough, but we can see how can we maximize, how can we excel, how can we grow, how can we prosper. So let's get started with this particular webinar on thriving in a workplace. Before I take you to the workplace, let me ask you or make you think of a situation where imagine you see this beautiful picture in front of you. Imagine if you're planning to go on a holiday with your friends. A lot of you together, you start brainstorming, where do we need to go, what is our budget, which place do we go in, how many days do we have, what do we need, what do we require. All of that is done. And let's say, for example, you and your friends decide to go to, let's say, Goa. All of your friends decide to go to Goa. So instantly, the first thing that we all start doing, and your generation currently, the first thing you would do is go by the reviews. So what do? Maybe all of your friends, you all sit, plan Goa as a destination, and you start scrolling through reviews and websites to see which place, which beach, which property, where do you stay, where would you like to stay. So the research starts. And maybe a few of the friends or everybody start researching by themselves, and you all zero down on one location. That, okay, let's stay in the north, let's stay in, Gandalem, let's stay somewhere, maybe some location. Let's say, for example, a Baga gets chosen. So all of you decide and discuss that, okay, we are going to live in Baga, and this is the property that we will live in. So you'll start researching on a property because you will go ahead and freeze it. You will go ahead and book it. Now, while you're reviewing, you see people have been very, very praiseworthy. People have said this is an amazing property, great view, very well-behaved staff, and maybe you see some pictures and you feel this is the best location ever. This is where I would love to be. And finally, all of you decide and you all make it to Baga, you all go there. And the moment you reach, because you have read so much, because you have thought so much, you are going with the same kind of mindset that once I'm there in Baga, once I'm there at the hotel property, I will have the same amount of experience, because right now your expectations level have risen really high. Imagine you reach the hotel property and you don't get treated well. You get into the room, you check into the room, and you realize the reviews that were there don't match the actual quality of the room you're being offered. You call up somebody for, room service, and your order does not come on time. You go out to explore what all is there in the property, and maybe you don't find the same kind of amenities that has been mentioned on the site. What happens then? What do we go through? If you will notice, in our head, before reaching Baga, before reaching that hotel, we had created certain sort of expectations that this is how the place will look like, this is the hospitality I'll get, this is the people I'll meet, this is how much fun we'll have. But that is when the event or the experience or the moment of truth happens and we experience reality. When our expectations is high, or when we are expecting too much, or when we are expecting in a certain way, but the reality does not match our expectations, what tends to happen? Expectations, reality. what is going to happen? It's bound to happen that we start feeling dissatisfied. We start feeling, disappointed. We start feeling frustrated. Anger comes in, anguish comes in, and a lot of disappointment happens. We start getting irritated with the whole fact of, why did I even come here? I had thought so many things would happen. It was so great when I saw it, when I thought about it, but it's not going as per my plan. So when your expectation meets the moment of truth, when reality happens, when your reality is lower than the expectation, when we experiencing the amount of things that we had expected was higher and experience is lesser, we start having a moment of misery. It gets irritating for us. It starts bothering us. Now you must be thinking that we are talking about thriving in a workplace. Why am I talking about a holiday? And that too, we've risen from Corona times. Everybody is dreaming of going on a holiday right now. And why did I transport you to Goa and to Baga Beach or whichever beach? Why did I do it? Imagine the same experience, the same feeling, the same thing. Now imagine this in a corporate house. Imagine this in a workplace. When we are in college, be it first year, second year, final year, whichever year we are in, we all have our concepts of working. We all have certain things that we have in our mind that we are going to do while we are at workplace. We start thinking that maybe, workplace will be fun. I'll get a personal cabin, or maybe, I'll get regular increments. There will be a great set of people that I'll work with. They will be very supportive. I will keep getting promotion year on year. And all of these mindsets that we go with, that it's going to be difficult, but I will have my own time because I'm from a reputed university. I will get special treatment. Whatever these expectations that we set inside our head, when that does not match the reality, just like you felt about the holiday, what happens is we start feeling the same thing while we are working in the corporates. We realize our expectations don't match the reality. Where is the problem? The problem is with the expectations. If we keep it real, if we interact with our current year students, final year students, or probably people who've got placed, if you start interacting with the working population, you will get to understand whether your expectations are real or not real. Here again, the reason why I'm stressing on expectations is because just like the holiday, just like anything else, when you're expecting a certain behavior from somebody and you don't get it, we tend to feel dissatisfied. It's a human nature. Because when we were expecting in our mind, we've already programmed a few thoughts. We start believing and living it. And in reality, when it doesn't happen, that's when a shock-like feeling happens to us. So once we experience the same thing in an organization, what tends to happen to us? We start becoming dissatisfied because we might have come with a different kind of a feeling. We join, we don't get the same experience. Maybe in a few months down the line, we become dissatisfied. Because we are feeling dissatisfied, because we feel that, things are not as per our plan, things are not happening in a perfect order, our performance starts dipping. The performance that we join in, the excitement that we have in the first day, first week, first month starts going on a downward trend. The willingness to learn, take up new tasks, the willingness to bond with others starts deteriorating. Why? Because somewhere we feel that our expectations is not matching the reality. If we keep performing in the same way, if we keep feeling in the same way, that feeling of leaving starts sinking in. That feeling of, I don't belong here. I don't think this is the right workplace for me. I don't think this is the right opportunity for me, starts becoming more and more inside you. And this is when workplace, people start spotting these kind of feelings. And there are some people who will always tell you that, yeah, you are right. This is not a great workplace. But those are the people who might just continue working there for years and years, but they want to influence you. And this is what happens to us. This is the stage where we reach from dissatisfaction to low performance to feeling like quitting. Now think over this. Just like you have a set of expectations while you go on a holiday or you join a corporate, when the corporate hires you, when the work place or the organization hires you, they also have a sort of set of expectations that when new hires will come in, when new joinees will come in, or maybe experienced people who've taken a sabbatical, they've learned and they've come back, when they join us, they will also come with a certain degree of knowledge, with willingness, with new ideas. They will add a lot of input. They might have their expectations as well. They might be thinking that, when you come in, you will make a lot of great additions to the organization. But if this is what happens, if we start putting in poor performance, if we start feeling horrible about being at work, somewhere they are also going through that moment of misery because their expectations and our reality does not match each other. So what do we do? Where do we go? What do we do? Because we are talking about thriving in a workplace. So how do we thrive in the workplace? Let me take you back to the holiday example. Now imagine when you are having that bad moment of looking at that property, looking at places and thinking, Ye kahan aa gaye? Why am I here? What is happening? At that moment, you might just feel, let's just pack our bags and leave. Or let's leave from here. There's no good staying here. But there could be one or two friends of yours, or you could be that one who says, let's explore. Let's try and see what all is there. Let's try and understand, what is great about this property. Because if the reviews are good, there should be something good enough. So then the exploration stage starts. When people start exploring, they start looking at the positives. And when you start looking at the positives, you feel like looking at areas which makes you feel connected with that place. Once the positive experience starts growing, you will realize maybe in the past this might have happened to you, a place that you hated, a place that you did not like at all. You might have started loving it because you started exploring it, you started accepting it. And now it might have just become your favorite destination. What I just told you is actually the cycle of change. It starts from resistance. It starts from denial of not accepting, moving on to resistance, trying, not trying, like, being resisting the change. But what starts happening is we start moving on a positive trend when we start exploring. Once the exploration starts, we look at the positives. Once we look at the positives, we feel like staying. And once we feel like staying, we get committed. This is the cycle that we all go through each time we experience a change. The reason why I'm talking about a change is because your expectations was built and your reality was different. It's a change happening inside your head, or it's a change that you are observing. So the journey from resistance to commitment, we go through only and only once we start exploring and start looking at the positive sides of things. If we don't look at the positive sides of things, we tend to feel negative about situations, and the feeling of wanting to quit keeps going on. You will notice the same place, the same area makes you feel great. So here what happens is when your expectations surpass, when your reality surpasses your expectation, we start feeling happy. We start experiencing the moment of magic. We start experiencing the positive feeling and we get committed to it, right? The place doesn't change. The hotel doesn't change. The workplace doesn't change. What changes is our attitude, our mindset towards looking at things. The way we look at things changes completely. And that is the difference that we need to make to ourselves in order to thrive in that workplace. Not just survive, but thrive in that workplace. So your attitude will make a lot of difference. I want to share with you something which is extremely important for you to understand and for you to know. A lot of corporates these days, a lot of organizations these days are facing this real-time challenge, which is when they hire students, maybe graduates, postgraduates, and they give them, they take them directly from the campuses. They offer them huge amount of package. But a lot of times, a lot of corporates are facing this issue that people leave the organization, students are leaving organizations in less than 6 months of their journey or in less than a year. For any organization, to get any new hire to perform, any newly joined employee to perform, they at least take 6 months to ensure that the revenue is met. Because there's a lot of cost that gets involved in hiring, in training, in making the people, performance ready. So that much of cost is put in, that much of investment is put in. And if employees start leaving your organization in less than 6 months to less than 1 year, there's a lot of cost that is incurred by the organization. So what starts happening is organizations start, having a difficult time. Students, employees start having a difficult time as well. Now, I want you to focus on why does it happen? Why do people leave in less than 6 months to less than 1 year? Again, look back at that example that I shared with you about the holiday example. Going with a set of expectations not getting met, the reality experience is lesser than the expectations that we had planned. Automatically, that feeling of I don't belong here, I don't think this is the right workplace for me, work pressure is too high starts happening to us. And that is where we make a decision of quitting. Let's come out of all of these things. Let's try and help you to understand that quitting is always an option. But you may not realize it now. Once you join an organization, you might just feel, oh, 6 months, it's not working, I quit and I leave. The next organization, you might face similar challenges or more challenges. Who knows? Quit that as well. Move ahead. Initially, it might just not bother your career map. But after you reach at a certain level, but after maybe your years of experience later, you will realize that your resume will start looking very patchy. It will give interviewers the realization that probably you've become a job hopper. You will find it very difficult to convince interviewers to let them know that you are somebody who would like to sustain, you are somebody who is committed. So remember that you need to focus on not quitting, not surviving, but thriving. So let's help you with 6 tips, which will be required for you, be it during your internship, be it during your final interview, or finally when you join a workplace. Often, this question, a lot of people ask me, and I have seen them ask a lot of other entrepreneurs and some stalwarts in the industry, which is, what keeps you going? What motivates you? What keeps you going? And I have always seen all of them and me answer this one thing, that find your purpose. You should know why you're waking up, why you are working towards things. You should know that why am I speaking in a particular manner? What are my results? What exactly am I doing today? Why? Because it has to be connected with your goal. It has to be connected with your purpose. The first thing that I would recommend to each of you, all of our dear students, is to set a goal. Where do you want to see yourself 5 years from now is just not a question that your interviewer will ask, and you have to go through it and you have to just create an answer and give it to him. It might be required during your interview process, I understand, but do this with your life. Sit one day, take out some time, sit and think over this question, that what would I like to do maybe 1 year from now, 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. If you can't see 5 years, it's okay. Start small. Start setting small goals. Start having these, milestones. Think of, where do I want to be? What do I want to do? What is my goal? The reason why I'm telling you this point number 1, tip number 1, is because, let's say, for example, I want to maybe become an entrepreneur, or maybe I want to own a house, I want to own my own car, etc. Let's say if that is my goal. Today morning, I have my office and I start feeling lethargic and I start thinking, oh my God, fir se again another Monday, I can't do this anymore. If my goal is in my mind, if I know I have to get a car in the next 1 year or in the next 6 months, if I know I want to become an entrepreneur and for that I need this much amount of funds by myself, it will inspire me to get up in the morning. Same way in your personal lives, you might have had targets for yourself. For example, if you know you want to be fit, till the time it's not completely in you, it's not bothering you so much, you will never wake up for it. If you know that, yes, I have to make it happen, I have 6 months and I need to ensure that I lose weight, you will wake up in the morning and hit the gym. If you don't set goals, if your purpose is not aligned, we are always lethargic. We are always out of energy. We are always full of excuses. And that is what makes us just survive. If you want to thrive, set a goal. Set a goal that inspires you enough to work for today to achieve that purpose of yours. This is tip number 1. The second tip that I want to share with you is a lot of times this happens to students, especially during internships, when they join organizations, or even, as a new hire, as a new joinee, when you join organizations, we again go with a lot of expectations that things will be clear to us. We will be told what is supposed to be done. We will be given hand holding. We will be told how a process happens. It may not happen. It may not happen. Maybe you've joined as an intern and you realize nobody has even told you anything. Nobody's given you work. You have almost nothing to do. Maybe you were expecting, because of the position, because of the designation, maybe because of the conversation, you thought you will get a lot of work, but maybe you get nothing. It's still a project that you need to do. Remember, the goal comes in again, because your internship experience makes a lot of difference to your final interview. What do? Instead of sitting there waiting for work to come to you, waiting for somebody to spot you, waiting for somebody to acknowledge, walk up, ask for help, ask for work, follow up. A lot of times you might just ask for work, but somebody forgets to assign it to you. Or maybe communication does not happen. Maybe you've asked once, communication hasn't happened after that. Follow up. Walk up, ask what exactly is the problem, where can you help, what kind of assignments can you get, what kind of experience can you get, is there some way you can help? Ask, follow up. Don't assume. Don't start thinking that they're not bothered. Don't start thinking that you're not required, or mere liye to yahan pe kuch nahi hai. Don't get these feelings inside your head. It is bound to happen that in an organization, you are a new joinee. If you get support, wonderful. If you get a process of induction where everybody's recognized you, everybody knows you're a new joinee, all of that happens, super. I am trying to help you to prepare you for the worst. In case it doesn't happen, ask, follow up. Don't assume. That is tip number 2 for you. Moving ahead to tip number 3. There will be a lot of workplace challenges that you will have. Maybe, there will be a lot of deadlines, of course. Corporates, workplaces are all about deadlines, chasing deadlines, submission of reports, projects, and this will keep on going. You might feel that now it's steady, but again, the graph will rise. Again, for some time, it will get steady, again, it will rise. So just like an ECG machine, you will have ups and downs. The point is, when we have ups, when we have a lot of stress levels, when our anxiety level is high, we tend to feel disconnected. We tend to feel irritated. A lot of frustration starts building in us. It's important for us to manage our stress levels. How do you do it? How do you manage your stress levels which gets created at work? Try and sit down for some time. Do whatever helps you to overcome the stress. But the most important tip that I'll do is, I usually do and I'll suggest to you is to manage this place, the powerhouse of yours. Manage your thoughts well. Our thoughts amplify our stress. Maybe the stress is this much, but the thinking around it makes it really big for us to feel. It makes us feel, why? Because we multiply, triple, 3 times, 4 times into our negative emotions. And each time we keep replaying it to people, pata hai aaj kya hua, aaj ye hua, aaj wo hua, we are re-experiencing the whole amount of stress. And the whole day we can only do what? Feel stressed. So it's important for us to let go of things. It's important for us to find out some ways to overcome that stress. It can be writing it down. It can be tearing it off. It can be burning it. It can be flushing it, putting it into a paper ball, writing down everything and throwing it away. Or just trying to calm our head down, listening to music, eating some food that you like, whatever it is, you need to calm yourself down. If you keep operating in that stress level, it will affect your work. It will affect your official relationships, personal relationships, people around you, and of course your work life. Everything, your house, like your people at home also, everything will start getting affected. So manage your stress, handle your stress, find out ways, strategies, tips to overcome it, because workplace is not going to be easy. You need to learn how to manage it. You need to learn that given the same amount of workload, how do I excel in what I'm doing? That will happen with practice. It will not come easy to you, but it's not difficult. You need to work towards it, right? So that's tip number 3 for you. The next tip that I want to share with you is something extremely important, and that is building interpersonal skills. Now, the very word interpersonal means it helps you to interact with one person or another. A lot of times people, technical people especially, have this misconception that I don't need communication skills. My work does not involve in dealing with people. I don't need interpersonal skills. There is no person on this planet who does not need communication skills, because we always communicate with others. We always need to speak to others. We always need to interact with people, with each other. It's extremely important and critical for us. When you're working in a workplace, like when you are in an organization, when you're working in a team, there are people that you're working with, maybe directly in the team or not directly, inter-team, intra-team. Your performance, your work will always be interdependent on each other. Somewhere your work and their work will coincide. You will need interpersonal skills. You will need to know how to communicate, how to solve conflicts, how to convince, how to negotiate, how to handle a conversation, how to influence. These are skills that you will always require to be able to communicate with them, to be able to get your work done. So start building this interpersonal skills of yours. Learn it. Pick up ways in how you can learn these interpersonal skills. Right? Why? Because this is something that will help you to excel in a workplace. This is something that will come in very handy to you, especially when you're dealing with people from different locations also. You will need to bond with them. You will need to communicate with them. A lot of challenges happen. Why? Because in a team, people don't speak to each other. Or inter-department, there is no bonding with each other, because of which people start having conflicts with each other. When you start bonding, when you start communicating, a lot of these problems get sorted away. And that is tip number 4 for you. Build interpersonal skills. The next one that I want to share with you is something that I have really seen works a lot. There are a lot of people I know who have been working in organizations for the past maybe 5 years, 6 years, 10 years in that organization. And one of the questions when I was, when I started off my journey, when I would see these people who've been in organizations for 5 years, 10 years, I used to always think, what keeps them in that organization? What makes them be in the organization for 10 years, 5 years? What keeps them there? And that's when I realized that workplace is, of course, important, but it is the experiences that they've had in the workplace. It's the bonding that they've had with individuals. That is what keeps them there. There's a saying that people don't leave organizations, they leave managers. That is absolutely correct. It's because of the behavior that keeps us either in the workplace or it takes us away from it. Tip number 5, extremely important for us and something that is doable. Once we start building interpersonal skills, once we start realizing that we need to speak to each other, we need to communicate with people, we need to manage conflicts, we need to bond with each other, start building positive emotional experiences. Some sort of emotions which is connected to the organization. Maybe in terms of, winning an award, maybe in terms of getting recognitions, getting value, getting support, or maybe it's just the relationship that we've built with our co-workers. Why does it help? Because each time the thought of ours that strikes into our head of quitting or chal raha hai, chal nahi dete hain, when these kind of thoughts come in, our positive emotional experiences can draw in that positivity for us to realize that it's just not survival. We need to thrive here. That is just not quitting. We need to sustain and excel. These positive emotional experiences will help you to shift your mindset from chalta hai to badhiya hai. Let's try and do it really. Let's try and help ourselves to flourish. So invest in people. Do something towards for them that makes you and your relationship grow with them. Do something small, maybe an appreciation, maybe some sort of asking for help, asking for support. All of these things are small, but they will definitely help you to start building in positive emotional experiences with people. Last but not the least, the final tip, the sixth tip, extremely important for us in the current generation and for years to come. There are a lot of times in our head we plan things to happen in a certain time frame. We feel itne dinon mein to ye ho jayega. I will be able to get my first promotion in this much time. I will, during the first performance appraisal, I will get this much percentage for sure. Or maybe I'll be able to get this much of money for sure. Or maybe, I will have a certain set of responsibilities for sure. So we always keep our expectations with a time period in our mind. When that time period is not met, the frustration builds in. When that time duration is not met, we start feeling disconnected. We start feeling dissatisfied. That is when this message is a key message. Stay patient. Things will happen. You will get your, whatever you're supposed to get. You will get what you deserve, or even more than that. You will get your appraisals. You will get opportunities, but you need to be patient for it. It's important for us to spend the few years, especially in internship, to spend that time for learning. It's important for us when we join organizations to spend that time to be inquisitive, to learn, to understand, to assimilate, to be able to explore more so that we become committed to it. That's the time where you're growing. That's the time that the organization is giving you to settle down into the organization. They are investing in you so that you start giving them the ROI, you start giving them the results. So my dear friends, stay patient. Don't think that abhi itni jaldi mera ye ho jayega, itni jaldi ye mil jayega. It will happen to you, but you need to give it some time. And when this loses out, when the patience level loses out, students resign. When the patience level fades out, organizations see that graph of high number of attrition, a lot of workforce leaving them in less than 6 months to less than 1 year. Of course, organizations are trying to build in that inclusive culture of, helping the older generation to understand how the young force works. All of that is happening. Maybe as a newcomer, you might not find the culture to be very, friendly towards you. It's slowly changing. Things are happening. Organizations are looking at the young force, but you also have to put in the equal amount of patience to understand that it will take time, but things will happen. So that was the sixth tip that I wanted to share with you. So overall, let me just take you through, what are the different tips that I shared with you. But before that, one reminder, please remember that it's your responsibility. Your career, your goals, your motivation, the way you look at your life, your choices are your responsibility. If it's your responsibility, you have to make it work. And the choice is always in your hand. You can choose to survive. It's in your hand. It's your choice. Absolutely fine. But when there is an option to thrive, why not choose that? Why just be mediocre when we can be of somebody, when we can be excellence, we can try for excellence. Why just be there to survive? Why not try to thrive? So the 6 tips that I shared with you to thrive in a workplace, number 1 is to set a goal. Set a goal, have a purpose, do a back calculation ki aaj jo main kar raha hu ya kar rahi hu, is it getting me closer to my goal or is it keeping me further away from my goal? Once the purpose is set, once the goal is set, motivation will come in, excitement will come in. You will start feeling like putting in effort, ownership, accountability, a lot of things will come in because you will be connected to the goal as well as the purpose. When I work, or maybe all the other people that I know when they work, whenever, we all are passionate about our work. So it doesn't matter what we are working on. We will ensure that whenever we work, we put in the same amount of effort. Why? Because our goal is clear in our head. Our purpose is clear in our head. that each time I communicate, I will ensure I put in my best. That is the purpose that I've set for myself. That's the goal that I have in my head. So automatically my actions will start matching my goal and my purpose. There has to be a back calculation. Once your goal, your purpose is there, you will be able to align your thoughts accordingly. Now understand, a goal is not for just a sheet of paper that likh diya ho gaya. You also need to imbibe it inside you. You need to work towards it. That's the first one that I had shared with you. The second one, a quick reminder, please ask, follow up, don't assume, don't think because I've joined new, because I'm a new intern, everything will be given to me, I will be told what to do. Not necessarily. They might be expecting high level of ownership and accountability from your end. They might be expecting that inquisitiveness from your side. That let's see if they approach us. Let's see if, a new hire is more interested to get work. If it's your internship, if it's your work experience, you ensure that you ask for work. You ensure that you follow up with people. You might have sent a report to somebody. You may not have got a response, but your report is due to be submitted tomorrow and you haven't got a response. You can't just sit there thinking, "Arey, maine to bhej diya, unka reply nahi aaya." No, it's your report. It's something that you need to do. It is, you are accountable for the submission. If it's tomorrow, your name is on stake. Your branding is on stake. You better find ways to get it done. So ask, follow up. Don't sit there, don't assume, don't wait for things to happen. Walk up and ask for things. That is number 2. The third one is manage your stress. Like I just shared with you, there will be a lot of stress that will get built. Why? Because you're not used to working in a certain pattern. It will happen to you. Once you start working with it, once you start managing it, you will realize it's not as big as how you thought it would be. Find out ways to get rid of stress, find out ways to reduce it. Most importantly, work on your thought level. Look at what are you more worried about? What do you keep thinking about? Are these positive thoughts or are these negative thoughts? Because negative thoughts, we keep multiplying it, amplifying it in our own head. So that was number 3 for you. Number 4, build interpersonal skills, conflict, communication, negotiation, influencing, team building, rapport. All of these things will be required for you to just not survive but thrive in the workplace. You will be working with people. You may not need to communicate on a daily basis. You may not have presentations all the time. Depends on which role, which level you're working in. But for regular conversation with your team members, you will definitely need interpersonal skills for sure. So that's tip number 4 for you. Tip number 5, remember to invest in people. Remember to put an effort to be, to like that workplace. There has to be certain emotional experience for us to keep going back to that place. Just like your childhood memory, maybe a house that you grew up in, maybe a place that you loved visiting, a piece of chocolate that you loved eating during your childhood. Each time you get that, each time there is a trip planned and you have to go back to that place that you loved where you grew up, you feel that, that positive hormones start triggering in your body. The same feeling we can have once we invest, once we build positive emotional experiences. It helps us, it's like that Fevicol that keeps us binded together. And we can turn that into Fevistick. We can stay there with the organization by building that positive emotional experience. And the last one that I share with all of you is to stay patient. Things will happen. You will get the right amount of opportunity. You will get recognition. You will get everything that you wanted, but give it some time. It's important for us to realize that as we need time, organizations need time. And if we lose out on our patience, what is the cost? The cost is it affects our mental state, it affects our stress levels, it affects our performance, it affects our relationship. So all of these things, if they're not aligned, the cost is huge. The cost will show on you. The cost will translate to your personal life, to your professional life. And the whole, the whole impact will be on you. Organizations will still find somebody in the position, but the experience that you have, the way you deal with things, if you don't deal with it in a proper manner, it will affect you and the relationships you have around you. So remember, my dear friends, my dear students, that it's important for us to realize it's your life, your responsibility. Choices are yours, yes, but the cost is also yours. If you decide to survive and merely go through the grind and think, chalo, ho gaya, kar liya, that is one way of living life. The other way of living life is choosing to excel, choosing to make it big in your life and thinking that this is where I started, there this is where I want to be in the next few years, and instead of wo thought nahi, working towards it as well. So these were the 6 tips that I wanted to share with you. I hope it made sense to all of you. Applying these tips will definitely take you a long way, and it will definitely help you not just to thrive during your internships, during your experiences with interviews, but also while you're working in workplaces. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. I hand it over to Vaishali ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful session.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, your thoughts will help our students a lot. Yes, ma'am. There are some questions. According to you, what is the most important element to create the best workplace?
Right. So according to me, what is the best element to create a best workplace, right? Okay. Now, I will tell you 2 perspectives. One will be from the point of view of as an employee, what is something that is required, and the second will be as an employer, as an organization. So as an employee, the most important thing that we look at or organizations expect from employees is the flexibility as well as the ownership. Flexibility in terms of not getting restricted to yahi mera kaam hai, main itna hi karunga, this is all that I will require, no. But looking at how else can I add value, how else can I grow, how else can I help the organization. And accountability, why? Because a lot of times in organizations, we keep having these finger pointings that, I did it, but it was because of somebody else that it did not happen. So flexibility and accountability, I think, are the 2 most important skill sets that organizations expect from employees, which will help them to make the workplace a better workplace. And for employees, I feel a lot of employees expect organizations to give them that always. Whenever I meet employees across different levels, they always feel they're not appreciated. A lot of students, especially newcomers, they have a set of expectations that, they'll get appreciations for their work. R&R's, reward recognition will happen, employee engagement will happen. So I feel from the employee's point of view, appreciations and engagement is something that they look for in an organization. From organization's perspective, flexibility, accountability. From employees' perspective, it is appreciations and engagement. So this is what makes the workplace come together.
Thank you, ma'am. And how can we motivate a lazy employee to work down?
Right. Now, Vaishali ma'am, there's something interesting that we need to understand, that this lazy employee that we tag as lazy could be lazy while a certain work is assigned to him or her, but may not be lazy all the time. Maybe there would be some activities which the person does perfectly well. So laziness could be very contextual, could be because of the work that has been assigned to that person. So how do we ensure that the person changes from being lazy to, adding value? One is they don't understand how their action is impacting them. They don't realize that if I'm acting lazy towards something, how is it impacting me? How is it impacting other people? How is it impacting the team goal? So somewhere that goal awareness is not there at all. That is the first thing. And the second thing is maybe nobody ever told the person that how it is important and what is the impact, and most importantly, how does it affect them, themselves, and their branding. So I guess how do we motivate them? The first thing is to make them realize what actions of theirs are impacting them, others, as well as the organizations. Once we make them realize, people start working. If it still doesn't work, then probably we have to give them very tight deadlines and we have to ensure that we keep following up with them. जब सर पे कोई रहता है, बार बार पूछता है, so people start working as well. So either try the first subtle approach or try the second one.
फिर स्टूडेंट्स का भी ऐसा होता है कि yes, parents are also forcing them to do internship and all that thing, but they do not want to do that thing. At that time, students come to us and ask the question, "Madam, ये नहीं करना है, लेकिन parents force कर रहे हैं." So it is quite difficult sometimes to answer them and convince them to go on that right path, right? So can you give some advice for that?
Sure, ma'am. It's keeps happening. It's so true. You know, when I look back at my career, there were a lot of things that people told me to do. There was a lot of force that happened. At that point of time, I thought, मैं क्यों करूँ ये? किस लिए करूँ? But you know, now when I look back at my career, now when I look at the experiences that I've gained, I feel those were the moments that has helped me shape myself today. I always say that, you know, experiences always add value. Whether you are doing your internship or whether you're doing whatever, it will always give you some sort of skills which you will need in the near future for sure. So don't look at it as a force. It might happen आपके parents बोल रहे हैं करो, उनके हिसाब से maybe that is the best advice that they can give you. What can you do as a student? Two choices. One, either convince your parents. If you can't do it, go by the second one, which is to go through the experience. But while you're going through the experience, please understand that यहाँ पे भी दो चीजें हो सकती हैं. या तो आप इसको करो with no मन at all and it looks like a burden to you. The second is जब यहाँ आए हैं तो उसको पूरा करते हैं because it will give you some experience for sure.
But most of the students leave after 1.5 months and so. Then they come to us, ma'am, what to do?
Right, ma'am. This is very, we don't realize initially that how much of branding are we creating. We let our employer know that I am somebody who cannot handle pressure. And these days, what happens is everybody knows everyone. And this branding is not just for me as a student. The branding is also for the institute. So employers get to know, okay, this institute say these students, they don't stay here for a long time. If we can't survive as an intern for 1.5 months or 2 months or 2.5, whatever the duration is, how will we work in a workplace? We may not have the choices always to choose the right amount of opportunity. How will we survive there? So that is something that we need to start working on consciously. Quitting हमेशा option होती है, but at what?
Yes. They opt for quitting only. They are not ready to face the problem or survive in that condition.
बिल्कुल मैम. And quitting is always an easy option. नहीं पसंद आ रहा है quit कर जाओ. But what next? The next internship, the next organization you join, what if you have worse conditions? Quitting is never the solution. It can be an option, but वो solution कभी.
I think we have got all the questions, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much, sir, and everybody at PU for having me over, and all the dear students who were listening to us via Facebook Live. Thank you so much. It was lovely connecting with all of you. If you all would like to get connected, we are there on social media platforms by the name of Emerge Finishing School. You can look me up also if you're there on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. And special thanks to Vishali ma'am for the wonderful introduction and taking.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to thank the head of our department, Mr. Amal Patel, sir, and HI of our institute, Professor Jatin Vaidya, sir, academic director, Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, sir, and president of our university, Dr. Devanshu Patel, sir, for motivating and supporting us continuously. And last but not the least, thank you to all the participants who assembled here today for this webinar. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Namaste. Very nice meeting you. And please stay safe, everybody. Stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.